IPA, session IPA, double IPA. We've even had a white IPA. But for a first on this channel, it's a black IPA from the Loch Lomond Brewery, just $1.79 in Aldi. But what is a black IPA? More importantly, does it taste any good? Check out the review to find out. Welcome back to Rocker's Beer Review. Today we're going to be reviewing this beer. It's from Loch Lomond Brewery. It's called a Bravehop Dark and it's a Bipper. When I saw this on the shelf, I thought, Bipper? What on earth's a Bipper? And a Bipper is a black IPA. Now, as I said in the introduction, we've had, white, we've had IPAs, we've had session IPAs, we've even had New England IPAs, we've had double IPAs. I know there's triple IPAs. I don't think we've actually reviewed a triple IPA on the channel. And we've recently had, also from the Lidl Craft Beer Festival, a white IPA. And that was horrible. So this is this is the opposite. This is a black IPA. So don't really know much about what a black IPA is. I can obviously, have a good idea in terms of, I'm expecting it to be an IPA, but it's going to be dark. So maybe it's something, it's in between an IPA, a normal sort of IPA and a stout, it's that sort of thing. So having a quick look on the back, it says it's got Columbus and Chinook. It says marmalade and pine aroma, and then it says roast and spice flavour, which sort of gets me a bit worried because, the white IPA was a bit spicy and that didn't really work. And then it says it's got a bittersweet finish, so bittersweet. So that's an interesting. This is, as I say, from Lidl's Beer Festival, so $1.79, not pretty good value, 6% it is. Let's get it out of the can. Let's see what it's like. Are we going to get a stouty looking beer, or are we going to get a very dark coloured? I'm not sure. I mean, it's black, so I'm expecting it to be black. And it's certainly pouring very much like a stout. There we go, beer in a glass. Wow. I mean, looking at that, you can see it from the screen there. It's sort of almost brown. It's sort of a browny colour, so it is very, very dark, but I would say it's a brown, one finger little head there. So I've not had a beer that looks like this before. Even a ruby red ale is lighter than that, but it's not black, that is brown. Let's have some aroma, shall we? Yeah, it smells like a sort of IPA. It's got it's got that sort of lemony, orangey, like it said on the can, marmalade. I wouldn't say it was that strong, but it's definitely got that. It's got something else in it. It's got something a little bit spicy, like nutmeg or something like that. I think I'm gonna have to just drink it. I'm a little bit scared, but for the good of the channel, I'm gonna try it. Cheers, everyone. Yeah, it's confusing. So you taste it and straight away you can get that sort of maltiness that you get with stouts. But you don't get that bitterness. It's quite, almost, dare I say it, refreshing. Has a sort of citrusy zing about it. I'm going to go in again. There's definitely that sort of malty black backbone that you would get with a stout. The mouth feels really nice, actually. It's quite soft. It's not overly carbonated. I've had stouts that are more carbonated than this. But it's a little bit confusing because you get those sort of citrusy sort of notes, but then they sort of disappear into that sort of bitterness. And you're getting orange rinds, you are getting that sort of almost marmalade. You're not really getting, the bittersweet finish, I'm not I'm not really getting. I'm getting a slight bitter finish. Yeah, it's got a really sort of bitter and almost like the moisture sucked out. It's it's got quite a high level of dryness. It does remind me a little bit of those sort of strong dark ales that you get, German dark ales, for example. It's not overly as bitter as a pint of bitter is. Yeah, maybe it's maybe it reminds me a little bit of a pint of mild. So the best way of describing this is like it is definitely like a hybrid between an IPA and a stout, but it's more easier drinking than a stout. It's more refreshing than a stout is. But at the same time, if you compare it with, say, an IPA, certainly an East Coast IPA, you've got more maltiness to it. And although there is a slight sort of tinge of lemons, a slight tinge of orange in there, it sort of comes and goes quite quickly to replace with a sort of very malty, bitter sort of bitter. I suppose it is a bittersweet now. I'm starting to get that taste through now. It's not horrible, but it's not really the style that I try. I'm glad I've tried it. I mean, it looks quite amazing. I'm quite, the fact that it's that sort of browny colour, I'm quite amazed at that. It's, and the head is looking quite good. Yep, I think I've tasted enough. I'm going to get some scores. Okay, the scores are in for Black IPA Bravehop Dark by Loch Lomond, coming in a 440ml can, and it's 6%, and it's only $1.79 from Lidl Craft Beer Festival. This is the I think this is the last of the beers that we've got from the Lidl Craft Beer Festival. I haven't been back to Lidl since, because it's basically right on the other side of town. It's a right pain to get to. So I don't even know if these beers are still available. I would like to go back and get some of the good ones that we've had. I mean, Loch Lomond, I think out of the breweries that they've had this month, Loch Lomond have been pretty much the leader of the pack. So they had their Session New England IPA that, in my opinion, was the best of all the beers from the Craft Beer Festival. They also had Southern Summit, which was an American pale ale. That wasn't bad. That was again, better than average. Great value for money. And then this one. Yeah, okay, enough about this one. I'm still in a confused state of mind about black IPAs. So, scores. First things first, aroma. Well, I'm quite disappointed, really, with the aroma. There's not much to it. If you're really, you can slightly smell a slight lemony, sort of citrusy sort of smell, but the maltiness of it, you can smell that as well. But it's not as strong as a stout. But it's not as fruity as an IPA. So I'm giving it a 10 out of 20 for aroma. And appearance, well, I mean, I was quite surprised. Black IPA? Why don't they call it brown IPA? Because that's actually the colour of it. It definitely looks much more brown, I've never seen a beer like that, really, that colour. You get the reds, you get the blacks, you don't normally get the browns unless something's gone definitely wrong with the beer. So brown IPA. But I suppose it doesn't sound very attractive, does it, brown? But I think it looks great because it's different and it's interesting. The head's nice. It's nice. It's got a nice thick body to it. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10 for appearance. Flavour-wise, it's an interesting one, because I think with any sort of beer, when you're trying to sort of mix two sort of styles like stouts and IPAs, you're not getting the best of either of them. You're getting the worst of both, really. And so how does it work? It doesn't work as well, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know. I'm interested to know if anyone's tried a black IPA that's like really really fruity, or a black IPA that's really sort of dark and stouty. This one is a real sort of mixture. It's got a nice mouthfeel. It's nice and soft. But in terms of its flavours, it's difficult because it hints on a bit of citrus, but doesn't fulfill it. It has a malty backbone and a little bit of bitterness, but not strong like a stout would be. So I'm giving it a 30 out of 40 for flavour. Value for money though, well, I mean, it's a 6% IPA. It's a black IPA, but it's a 6% IPA. So I would give that a 9 out of 10 because it's just $1.79. I think it's good value. And then my overall experience of it, well, I don't think it's a style that's really going to be doing it for me. It's okay. It's better than a lot of stouts, but you know, I've had a hell of a lot more. I'd rather drink a normal IPA when I know what I'm getting. I like that fresh, fruity flavour. I mean, for me, I suppose even in the IPAs, it's maybe moving more towards that sort of West Coast sort of flavour, when you've got that bit more bitterness in there, but it's also got this maltiness that's usually, you don't even get that with a West Coast. So it's combining the two. It's not something I'd want to drink loads of, and I certainly am not going to be going out of my way to find black IPAs on the shelves. So I'm giving it 11 out of 20. So we top those scores up, we get, it's not bad, 69 out of 100, you know, housewife's favourite. It's a good beer, and you know, $1.79, if it's still available, give it a try. Let me know what you think. One thing I'd also say, Bravehop, I think they do a normal Bravehop, or they have done in the past. I don't think it's available this time. Didn't see it in Lidl. But I'd be interested if you've tried Bravehop normal, what that tastes like. Because I think Loch Lomond are a brewery to watch out for. I'm going to be, you know, if anything, I'm sort of a bit turned on by them as a brewery and see what else they've got, because I think they do some good beers. So that's the end of the Craft Beer Festival from Lidl. Not the end of the reviews from Rocker's Beer Review though, because we've got a hell of a lot more exciting things coming up on the channel. So really appreciate it. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like the video, give it a thumbs down. But if you want to subscribe, then you'll get notified of every video that comes out, whether that be in a supermarket, the latest in the supermarket beers, something a bit quirky and different from a bottle shop, or the latest and greatest in rock reviews. So until the next one, you know what you got to do. Keep on rocking.